We are fresh off of NFL Week 9, looking directly into NFL Week 10. Lots of fun games this weekend to cover. If you don't know who we are Statalytics. We love football. We love to dabble in analytics, and we love to dabble a little bit in sports betting. So if that's for you, then this is the show for you as well. Before we do that, Brendan, how we doing, man?
It's good. My mustache is making me sneeze.
Oh,
so that's good.
Yeah.
We'll get one sneeze in on the show.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, don't want to waste your time. Don't want to waste my time. Don't want to waste everybody else's time. We're going to jump straight ahead into the games this week. We have no review to be doing from last week. I think everybody's got that covered. Before we do that, Brendan, I want to issue a public apology to you and my followers. I was overly enthusiastic on the Bills last week against the Bengals, and they led me astray. I was wrong. It also took away from the fact that I hit on the Chiefs. I hit on the Eagles. I hit on the Eagles over, and a few others. But great pick with the Bengals. And I wanted to say sorry specifically to everybody who followed me in my enthusiastic pick in the Bills, specifically Walt, Trey, Berga, Riley, and that whole house. So I'll make sure to get it right next time. Beer bets, we went 1-1 again, so we're still even. Should be hopefully we have some this week that maybe one of us can run away with it. So with that being said, let's dive right into the games. 49ers go to Jaguars. This is going to be one of the most anticipated games of Week 10. Jaguars fresh off of a bye. 49ers fresh off of a bye. So all of them should be healthy. I think we can expect Deebo Samuel to be back. Brock Purdy, hopefully he can get his mind right. You know, he had a tough week last week coming off of that tough game. The Jaguars, they're 6-2 right now. They're sitting in a really good spot, looking to be one of the best teams in the AFC right now. So this should be a fun one. NFC versus AFC, two really, really solid quarterbacks. Offenses with a lot of weapons and defenses that are performing relatively well compared to the rest of the league. Before we get into all of the numbers and the betting splits, Brendan, initial reaction to this line, initial reaction to this game, who do you think is going to win and why?
There's no way that the 49ers are going to go 5-4. That's all I have to say. They know, look, they're the truth. They know their back's against the wall. They're coming off a bye. Deebo is back healthy. I don't know if there's anything wrong with Purdy except he just couldn't throw the ball, but the 49ers are going to get right here, and they're going to win at Jacksonville. The spread's 3. I don't really know about the spread there. I just think the 49ers are going to win this game.
Okay. Well, hey, I mean, you know,
Chase Young is going to play probably.
That's a mean offensive or defensive front.
That's so mean. It's so mean.
Dirty. It's dirty. I mean,
it's so mean.
Yeah, this one is going to be tough. The projections do have the 49ers covering barely, right around 4. Looking at the betting splits, 34% of the tickets are on the Jags. 70% of the handle, according to Action Network, is on the Jags. So there's a bit of a lopsided differential there between the two. Lots of there's some heavy money coming in on the Jags. I think it's because they're at home. You know, I think there's some favorable matchups. You can throw the ball on this 49ers team. It's a lot harder to run, but you know, I think that's kind of favorable for the Jaguars, albeit Travis Etienne's been electric on the ground. Now, if we flip it over, the 49ers, I agree, man. There's no way they should be 5-4. A lot of people like to kind of shat on Brock Purdy, but I think he's a great game manager. I think he's a perfect QB for what Kyle Shanahan's trying to do. You just need a guy that's smart enough to be able to run the system and distribute the ball to the playmakers. And with Deebo coming back, with Brandon Ayuk having a career year, with Christian McCaffrey going absolutely nuclear week in and week out, I think he's got a touchdown every single week for the past 18 games as he's played in. And then George Kittle, I mean, he's just so reliable down the middle. So I think he can get his mind right. I think he can get well. I'm curious to see what Doug Peterson draws up in this game, because you know he's going to get in his bag. They've had the bye week, and he's probably got something crazy coming up. I don't know what the game plan is going to be. I don't know who the ball is. He typically schemes it up specifically to one or two players every week, depending on the matchup. So I wouldn't be shocked if we see Calvin Ridley have another nuclear type game as well that we saw in week 1 after the bye. So I think they get him more involved. But nonetheless, I kind of like the 49ers as well. The only problem is it's not at home for them, but I'm trusting the talent differential for the 49ers and then the coaching. I think Kyle Shanahan has a slight edge over Doug Peterson, so I like it.
They're going to come out mean, is all I know. They're going to come out mean. But
Yeah.
I will say Jacksonville might get Zay Jones back, which would just kind of help over the overall passing attack, which is the weakest for the 49ers. I don't really know if that has a big impact or not, but I still like the Niners in this. I think the defense is going to come to play. I think they were kind of banged up. McCaffrey was kind of banged up. Debo was banged up. So they had a whole week to heal. They come out kind of pleasant.
Yeah. I mean, looking at one specific stat that I love to use as a baseline that is really telling is San Francisco, they have the third best offensive EPA per play. Jacksonville, 19th best offensive EPA per play on the offensive side of the ball. So San Francisco is much more efficient with the ball in their hands, even with that down game they had last week. San Francisco, I just think, they're going to be able to edge them on the offensive side of the ball, and they certainly have the better defense. So I'm giving the nod here to the 49ers. I think, albeit the money is favoring the Jags, I'm taking the 49ers -3 where I can find it. Should be a fun one, though. I'm going to watch that game and enjoy every second of it. That's for sure. All right. Guys, we appreciate you listening. Make sure to like and subscribe to the video if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening on the podcast, just give us a 5-star rating and then comment your favorite picks. We love scanning the crowd and seeing what everybody has cooked up on the books. It's all in good fun. So we love seeing that from everybody. So drop those in the comments. Next game, Browns versus Ravens. Going to the Ravens. Ravens are cooking people. I read something today that Ravens have the largest point differential in the league at plus 115 points. They are murdering people right now. So I think they have the most complete team right now. They have one of the best defenses in the league, and they have an offense that, they can do just about everything. They can run, they can pass, they can do it all. So Browns on the flip side, we know that they have one of the league best defenses, but the offense is shaky at best. So, can they find some sort of consistent offensive production to keep themselves in this game against the Ravens? It's going to be tough because this defense at home is going to be tough to get any sort of production. Deshaun Watson just still looks like a shell of himself. He just doesn't look right. He's kind of cooked, simply the best way that I can put it. He's just straight up kind of cooked, but we'll see if they can get something going. We know in this intra-divisional matchup that there's going to be, it's going to be close no matter what. So I think we can expect that. But in this defensive bout, Ravens, 6-point favorites at home over the Browns. Brendan, initial reaction to this line. Who do you like? Let me know.
I just want to point out that the Ravens have allowed 20 or less points in 6 of their 9 games. And it's going to be a race to 20 because both these defenses are really good. And I think that the Ravens will win. The fact that I think it'll be a lower scoring game because both defenses are really, really good, it has me favoring the Browns to cover that 6. But
dude, yeah, it's tough because
I don't know.
It's a sub 40 total. And before I let you know what I got is this, again, it's a defensive bout. The total is sub 40, sitting at 37, 38 on some books. And I just don't believe in this Cleveland offense. And if you look at it, offensive EPA per play, Baltimore 10th in the league, Cleveland 31st in the league. Now that's including some PJ Walker games, but Deshaun has been no better. Like he doesn't come in there and elevate this offense in its entirety. It's just not how it works. PJ did fine, I really don't think it's that much of a difference at this point, the way that Deshaun Watson is playing. So I think at home, Baltimore just kind of mauls these Cleveland Browns, and it's going to be close at first, but I think in the third and fourth quarter, the Browns defense is going to be on the field so much that they're going to be tired, they're going to be wore out, and then that's when they're going to let up on the big plays. And I think that's where Todd Monken and Lamar are really going to exploit the defense and the stamina of this defense, just because this offense won't be able to produce at all. They won't be able to. The time of possession is going to be so lopsided by the end of the day that it's inevitable that Baltimore wins this game by more than one possession. So I'm taking the Ravens -6. We look at the betting splits a little bit. 47% of the tickets are on the Ravens. 25% of the handle is on the Ravens. So 75% of the money, according to Action Network, is on the Browns. I'm not buying it. I'm going to fade the public in this one and take the Ravens at home. If I can get a point here or there at Ravens -5, I would also do that, because right now, or the past 3 games, Ravens defense is playing better than Cleveland's defense, and Ravens offense certainly has been playing much better and much more efficiently than this Browns offense as well. I'm a big believer in Kevin Stefanski, but his play calling is a much more questionable than it has been in the past few years. So I'm out on these Browns at this point. I think they have the talent, but until they get their offense figured out and until Deshaun Watson kind of, ups his game a little bit, I'm out. I think the Ravens are too good of a team to let this Browns team kind of keep it close. So
the Ravens beat the Browns in Cleveland 28-3.
Yeah, I mean,
but I don't think that when teams play each other for the second time that it's the same every time. So I'm going to stay with the Browns covering 6.
Ooh,
the low-scoring game.
That was one of our first beer bets of the year, was the Ravens Browns. So I think you took the Browns.
Did you win?
Oh, I got it. I took the Ravens.
Oh no, I was up pretty good on you at the beginning there.
Yeah, I remember that because that was one of the only ones. I went 2-4 at first, and now we're even at 5-5. So
put it on the map. Put it on the map. Put it on the map.
On the board, beer bet of the week: Ravens, Browns. It's gonna be fun. We gotta get one more in there for everybody. All right, should be a fun one. Always is, between those two teams. Next game, Lions coming off of a bye. They go to LA and play the Chargers. The Chargers are coming off of a solid win against the Jets. But Lions should be fresh, should be rejuvenated. They are getting David Montgomery back. They did trade for Donovan Peoples-Jones, so they have some help on the perimeter receiver as well. Amon-Ra should be fully healthy. So this team should be firing on all cylinders nonetheless. We flipped over to the Chargers. They're not that. A lot of guys are on IR. Josh Palmer's on IR. We know Mike Williams is out for the year. So they're really functioning with just Keenan Allen and then Quentin Johnson and some scrubs behind them. And it's really been the Austin Eckler show for the past couple of weeks, just due to the nature of how depleted the wide receiver core is. We haven't really seen much production out of this Chargers offense. In the Monday Night Football game against the Jets, they had 2 drives in that entire game that went more than 24 yards. I know the scoreboard and the box score may confuse everybody, but only 2 of those drives went for more than 24 yards. So I just thought it was an interesting stat that I wanted to share with everybody. Chargers are +3 home underdogs facing up against the Lions. Lions are arguably one of the best teams in the league, most complete teams in the league, excuse me. But before we get any more into it, Brendan, initial reaction to this line, let me know what you think.
Yeah, I like the Lions coming off a bye to cover that 3. They're getting D-Mon back. They have new weapons in Donovan Peoples-Jones, like you said, and Amon-Ra is always open. So I think they're going to be able to. I do think it might go to more of a split carry with Montgomery and Gibbs, but either way, it'll be a change of pace, which is the way they always wanted it to be. So I think they're going to be able to run the ball on them, and I think they're going to be able to excel through the air, and the Lions defense has been playing really good also. So I think the Lions do here. I don't think the Chargers have the offensive firepower to stay with them.
Yeah, I mean, I Yeah, before I'll wait a little bit, but 95% of the tickets are on the lines. 99% of the handle, according to Action Network, is on the line. So it's always scary riding with the public. I'm definitely not one of those guys. It's always like fade the public, fade the public. And the public wins, and they have been winning quite a bit as of late, actually. So that's not one of my systems or my processes for some of this, but it's just interesting to know where everybody's head is at. But this line really hasn't moved from initial opening. If you look at this offense, their production is relatively similar. Detroit, they're seventh in the league in overall EPA per play on the offensive side of the ball. Chargers are 10th in the league. So they're top, 12 teams in pass rate over expectation. So, maybe some points in this game could lean over the total. It is one of the higher totaling games of the week. So, might not be much plus EV there. But I think, after last week's performance by the Chargers defense gave me some confidence in this team, because originally I was like, God, this Chargers defense is just not good, and we kind of see that they're 27th in the league in EPA per play allowed on the defense side of the ball, but it looks like they kind of got more of a rhythm going. They had 8 sacks against the Jets. I know the Jets offensive line is absolutely, they're all bums, but I think, even though it looks like they're getting it going, I just can't buy into them until I see it again. Their defense has not been what they should be given their talent. And man, I agree with you. This Lions team coming off a bye, they're fully healthy, especially compared to the Chargers offense. The Lions -30, man. I think I got to do it. I got to ride with.
I need the Lions to the bowl so bad.
Yeah.
So bad. They
that
won't. They'll lose in the first round. But
it would be amazing if we could have that happen. We'll see. Luckily the NFC is the division or the league that you want to be in. Compared to what's over in the AFC, you got the Chiefs, the Dolphins, the Bills, all of those guys, the Bengals. So luckily for them, they are in the NFC. The Eagles are the biggest, contenders, I guess. But nonetheless,
did you see the Super Bowl logo thing on Twitter?
Yes, kind of crazy.
That's awesome.
Crazy. So
everybody put your money on the Ravens and the 49ers to be in the Super Bowl this year.
If anybody's curious what Brendan's talking about, go find the Super Bowl logos and then look at the color schemes. And they've been indicative of the two opponents.
Chiefs and Bengals, and then the Eagles and Chiefs.
Yeah, they've been indicative of the primary colors of the teams that have been in the Super Bowl. And this year it looks like the 49ers and Ravens. So I guess we'll really see if it's scripted now. But I agree. Lions -30. I see they should easily do this, especially considering the health of both teams. I think the Lions should have no problem going into this game. So it's going to be a fun one nonetheless. Next game, Commanders go to Seahawks. And I know some people are like, why is this such a big game? But there are some NFC implications in this game. And this is kind of do or die for the Commanders. And then with the Seahawks, they're looking to get back on track after getting absolutely routed by the Ravens. So this is a get-right game for Geno and company. Commanders are one of the friendliest defenses to opposing offenses in the league. So Geno and Tyler and DK and Jackson Smith and Jigbo, they should all cook. There's no question about it. They really should get right here. Now the Commanders, they have one of the highest pass rate over expectation. Sam Howell is on pace to average 46 dropbacks per game. 46. Right. So Eric Bieniemy is calling plays like he still has Patrick Mahomes back there. More power to him. It's fun. Is it sustainable? Is it successful? Maybe not, but it's certainly fun. It makes watching the Commanders a lot more exciting than it has been in recent memory. But we look at this game. Seahawks are 6-point home favorites, 6.5 on some books. 94% of the tickets are on Seahawks. 90% of the handle is on Seahawks. So we have a heavy lean by the public on the Seahawks team, rightfully so, due to the offense versus the Commanders' defense. Now, before we get into some of the numbers, Brendan, snap reaction to this. Are you still riding your boy Sam Howell, or are you jumping off the train?
Heck no. I mean, I'm not jumping off the train. I mean, he's the number 7 fantasy quarterback in the league. Come on now. But what I do have to say is the Redskins, which is what their name is, just shipped off their 2 best defensive linemen, and Seattle is needing a get right game at home, and I think Seattle destroys them.
Yeah,
Give me a
so
10, 13 point win. So they
Ooh,
cover the
okay.
pick.
I'm a fan. Okay, yeah. So I kind of agree. Looking at the projections sit right around the 6.5 point total. Speaking of the projections, our projections are both college football and NFL can be found at Statletics. Both of them are hitting right around the 60% hit rate. So don't miss out on that information. You can find it all there. We post it for free on Twitter. It's great stuff. Cool stuff, especially if you're into more of the analytical side of everything. So projections have Seattle right around 6.5, 7. So, I think one of the reasons I think so is just the efficiency on the Seahawks. They were a top 10 team in offensive EPA per play, but after this routing against the Ravens, they dropped down to 11. So they're 11th in the league in overall offensive EPA. Washington, 26th in the league in offensive EPA per play. Now they get a lot of production, but efficient, not so much. Again, we mentioned that Sam Howell dropback thing. And then the Seattle defense, this number is actually skewed from this past game too, because they just gave up, a ton to the Ravens this past week. But offensive EPA per play allowed by the Seahawks, they're 10th in the league, and then Commanders 26th in the league. So wide margin, a lot of mismatch there. And again, that's not the whole story, but Washington defense, they were already not good, and then they trade away their 2 best pass rushers, so they have nobody to pressure this offense, and they really don't have much going for them in the secondary. And so Gino and this offense need to get right. What a perfect opportunity for them to do so. And then you look over, Seattle's defense is really, really solid. They just traded for Leonard Williams too. Bobby Wagner is aging like fine wine. He's leading the league in tackles. And then not only that, but you have to play them in the 12th man at home. Give me the Seahawks. I totally agree. I think they win by 2 possessions in this game.
Yeah. So you're going to go, this is the parlay you're going to do. And I want anybody to text me if they take this and it hits, okay? You're going to want to go Seahawks minus 6.5, whatever the heck it is. And then you're going to want to go Gino over 270. And you're going to want to Kenneth Walker over 100. Okay? That's it. That is it. And that's what we're doing. Okay, so lock it in. Okay. Lock it in right now. Okay.
Yeah, I could use a big Tyler Lockett game, and I could use a big Kenneth Walker game. I need it. My fantasy team needs it. So Kenneth. I know Zach Charbonnet needs to go away for a little bit.
Kenneth.
But hey, this isn't fantasy football. We're here to talk football and betting. So should be a fun one nonetheless. Big on the Seahawks. I normally never like taking a spread that's, a full touchdown or more, just because that hardly ever happens in the NFL. But, I see, like a 27-17 type finish here, or 30-20 type finish here out of the Seahawks Commanders. So should be fun. I'm excited for that one. Next game, Texans go to the Bengals. Bengals look like a totally different team than how they started. Joe Burrow looks fully healthy. This offense is finally getting it going. Texans, CJ Stroud is a baller. He is definitely earning himself into, top 10 status. I mean, there's not many quarterbacks playing better than CJ Stroud right now. 455 yards last week and a couple of touchdowns to Tank Dell and Nico Collins. He was balling. And, an exciting win against the Bucks. Definitely the highest scoring game of the week. So D'Amico Ryans has this team rolling. Bengals finally rolling. This game, it's at Bengals, so it's going to be a tough stretch for the Texans. But Bengals are favored by a whole touchdown on some books, and I'm not going to lie, that kind of surprised me. Maybe the projections do have Bengals by 5.5, but not a full 7. So maybe a little bit more home field advantage baked into it between the line. We look at the splits, 30% of the bets are on the Texans, 36% of the handle is on the Texans. So about 70% of the public is leaning towards the Bengals, as expected, coming off of that game against the Bills. Brendan, let me know how you feel about this game. Who do you got?
Yeah. The Texans are gonna fall back down to earth because Joe Burrow's cock is about this long. I
What?
can't even do it in the screen if his cock is long. So we're gonna take the Bengals at home here. I just think that I don't care about the Jamar stuff. I don't think it matters. I still think that they're gonna take it, and the Texans are coming all the way back down. Bengals, whatever the spread is, lock it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, let's look at some of the numbers here first. Cincinnati, they are 21st in the league in overall offensive EPA per play, but you kind of look at that on a broad scale. If you look at their past few games, I'm sure they would be top 10 in the league, especially with the production and the wins that they've had. Houston, 12th in the league in overall offensive EPA per play. Their defense is not great. It's okay, but 15th in the league in overall offensive EPA. Kind of surprising. I thought it'd be a little bit lower for the Texans, especially off of giving up 30 to the Bucks. But Bengals are 23rd in offensive EPA per play allowed on the defense side of the ball. And again, that's, you look at those metrics and they can be telling, but you also have to evaluate how well a team is playing at the moment and what kind of momentum do they have. So I think that's what makes this so tough, but I got to take Texans plus 7. I think they keep it close, man. I think they do. So,
look, I can't go against the PSM. The PSM, for you that don't know, is the penis size model, and Joe Burrow is at the top. He's at the top. I can't go against it. I literally can't go against it.
I should have done that. I thought Josh Allen ranked above Joe Burrow on that model.
It's close, but yeah,
not anymore. Not anymore.
Yeah, they both
Joe Burrow owns Josh Allen.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever, again, I issued my apology. I'm sorry to everybody who bought in with me last week. So mucho apologies. All right. I'll take Texans. You take Bengals. Could be another beer bet.
You want to?
Let's do it. Put it on the board. We need another one. Unless we have one in this game. Well, so last big game breakdown that we have. Saints go to the Vikings. Arrow Dobbs is in full effect. What a comeback. Unfortunately, it was against my Falcons. I am deeply disappointed, but he's balling he balled out for the Vikings. Vikings got a surprising win. They're rolling. They're back in contention. They actually hold a playoff spot. So there's a lot to lose for the Vikings and their future moving forward. They did get Justin Jefferson designated back off IR. I don't expect him to play this Sunday, but I do expect him to play next Sunday. That's irrelevant for this game. However, you flip it over to the Saints. Saints are a hit or miss team for me, man. They're either on or they're off. They're just so inconsistent with what they're doing. And I have a hard time buying into this offense. They can produce, but not on a consistent basis, and they're not that efficient with what they do. Vikings are 2.5-point home underdogs in Minnesota in the Dome. Keep a note of that. So Saints favored by 2.5. 50% of the tickets are on the Saints. 77% of the handle is on the Saints. Before we get into some more of the numbers, Brendan, snap reaction to this line. Are you riding with Arrow Dobbs or are you taking Derek Carr and the Saints?
First thing that I want to say is I know the total is really low because of Dobbs coming in, but I think it's like it hits the over. It's 38.
Yeah,
38 I think it hits the over like very easily.
It's possible.
Yeah,
very possible.
Here's what I got here. I think in the Dome, I think the Vikings are I mean, everyone's so hyped up. They're going to be sculling all the stuff because, Arrow Dobbs is here. And I will say, like, KJ Osborne went down. So they're down to, like, Addison, Hawkinson, and Powell as their pass catchers. But Jefferson came off of IR. If he's healthy, I've seen, like, one report a week ago that he was progressing a lot faster than I thought. If he's healthy, I think he plays. Because you're right. They are in playoff contention. They have to win these games. And if he plays, then I definitely think that the Vikings are going to cover this. What is it, 2.5? Underdogs at home.
Yep.
Yeah, I definitely think they're going to cover that. I like the momentum they're riding. I think the over's going to hit. The Saints, just Derek Carr is not it. Now, I think, Kamara is going to be able to get it done. I think Olave is probably going to have another good game, maybe a spot 3 reception, 150-yard Shaheed game. I really just want points in this game, to be honest with you. But I do think I think the Vikings will win at home. But I like them to cover the 2.5.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Dude, I want the Vikings to cover the 2.5 so bad. I love Josh Dobbs. I hate the Saints. Being a Falcons fan, I just can't stand them. And I want them to lose every single week. I want to beat them in our division so bad. But I'm taking the Saints plus or minus 2.5. I think that this Vikings defense is the weak link. It's not actually, it's not going to be their lack of production on the offense. We've seen that, but their defense is a squeaky wheel. And then the flip side, Saints do have a better defense than people give them credit for. They're 5th overall in the league in EPA per play allowed, and they're a top 10 team at turnover rate. So, and they're a top 10 team in yards per game allowed. So, with that being said, as much as I believe in Arrow Dobbs, as much as I love the Vikings, and as much as I hate the Saints, I won't ignore the process or the system or the numbers. I think the Saints cover this 2.5 points in the dome against a really, really, really soft Vikings defense.
You're about
another one on the board. Let's do it.
I'm confident about everything this week, man. I'm about to show about my parlay if they want to hit it.
Yeah.
One thing I will say is Cam Akers towards Achilles, and he just wasn't explosive ever. What that means is Madison can't carry a full workload. So all that means is that Ty Chandler's going to be on the field a lot more than he has been, and he's shown a lot of explosiveness being first year and everything. And I think it's possible that he's not going to do a bunch of damage, but maybe he hits an explosive play, which wasn't possible before with Cam Akers.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully they start feeding him the ball too. The only thing that, again, another thing that worries me in this game for the Vikings is they're going to be without KJ. They're going to be without Justin. It's just going to be Jordan Addison, Brandon Powell. And then he won't play. Kevin O'Connell said he would, you would be shocked if Justin did play. Maybe he does. Maybe I'm wrong. But I'm viewing this game as Justin is not going to play. It's going to be Brandon Powell and Jordan Addison as wide receiver 1 and 2. Hawkinson, he's a little beat up after last week's game. And I just don't think the Saints are going to flub it like the Falcons did, unfortunately. Sad. But, yeah, I think there's a lot going against the Vikings. And, I want them to win. I would love to be wrong. If the Vikings do end up winning, I'm not going to feel bad about this pick whatsoever like I do the others. I will be honestly happy because I hate the Saints and I love Josh Dobbs. But with that being said, I got to trust the process. Saints, projections like the Saints, going to ride with it. So, Brendan, anything else for the audience?
About that game, no. I've said my piece and it's right.
All right. Is there anything else on the site? We're done with our big game breakdown. There's a few other games. They're not as important. If you want to see our projections or our picks, make sure to follow our Twitter @Statlytics. We post all of the projections for all of our games, and then we post the beer bets, and we also post some of our extra picks on the side. So if you want to find those, make sure to check out our Twitter. Brendan, you got anything else for anybody? Let me know.
Yes, I do. I have the Beach parlay. Okay. Beach parlay is Minnesota plus 2.5. Cincinnati minus 6.5, Cleveland plus 6, San Francisco -3, Detroit -3, Seattle -6. I want to say that if y'all send me a screenshot and you did it and you lose, I'd pay you back. So I won't do that. But everyone go get rich.
Yep. Okay. I'm a fan. I
I
do
thought about
like the
saying that.
Colts.
I just can't.
I like the Colts -1 going to Foxborough playing the Patriots. I think that's a fun one to dabble in.
It's in Frankfurt.
And what?
It's in Frankfurt.
Yeah. Oh, shoot. I always do that. I
You do
always
always
go
do
and
that.
look on the schedules, and it still has like home and away teams,
Yeah.
and that always throws me off. So I'll have to reevaluate. But I think that kind of makes me like the Colts even more. And then, of course, I'm taking my Falcons, man. I think they come back, but, again, don't listen to that. I am
Kyler's first game back. Kyler's first game back.
Heck yes.
They got to fire Arthur Smith before they do that. He's an idiot.
I know. If he drops another one, I'm already out on Arthur Smith, but I think this team is too talented to keep losing. So, guys, we appreciate you tuning in for the NFL Week 10 show. We will be back here next week for NFL Week 11. Make sure to check out our projections. You don't want to miss it. We will talk to you guys later.